Welcome to a whole new episode of BizBuzz 24/7 and at the same time Calcalling National. The whole interview will also be here on Headlines Tripura, which is a leading channel in our neighboring state, Tripura. Today we have Mr. J.C. Morel, who is a very senior business advisor and at the same time the senior director at French startup and scale-up firm Creative Valley based out of Paris. He is also involved in several other programs like Station A, which is the biggest startup location in the world. Welcome, Mr. Morel, to our show. I'm sure we'll get to hear many fascinating stories and many new and innovative opportunities for you, which the Indian startups can look forward to. So without wasting any time, I would like to straight go to you. As you all know, Mr. Morel has joined all the way from Pisa, Italy, to share his story to all of us and how Indian startups, particularly startups from Kolkata and Bengal, can join hands, collaborate with their counterparts in Italy and the whole of Europe. So, Mr. Morel, welcome you to the show once again. If you could tell us more about this new initiative that you have got involved into, because you have been traveling to India and Kolkata for past several decades. You know the ins and outs of Kolkata and India. You have traveled with several Italian prime ministers. You have also attended West Bengal Chief Minister's Mamata Banerjee's meeting in Italy. So you have seen the world. You have seen India. You have seen Italy. You have, go through so many ups and downs. So first, let me know what is the situation like in Italy. I hope it's much better now, and this whole pandemic is kind of a thing of the past. If not wholly, then definitely to a large extent.
Yeah. So first of all, it's really nice to speak with you again, Ritwik. It's a great pleasure because, as you know, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to connect with you and meet with you many times around, including many times in Kolkata and in India. So thank you for your activity and program. So it's really nice for me to share with you, and I look forward, as you, to share those information and those insights for Indian startups, because I think that they have a huge opportunity at the moment. So without further ado, I think that the most important point, so coming to your point about the pandemic, of course, Italy has been tracked very badly. There has been more than 1.3 lakh death, so 130,000 people dead. But the situation in the last few months is better. So a lot of Italian people have the jab, have the vaccine. So we are covering more than 80% of the population, so which is good. So the government is helping a lot, and there are a lot of initiatives. So things are very cautious, but we are optimistic. And
good to hear that.
Yes.
Now tell us something about this new initiative.
The new initiative is really aligned on what we did in the past. No? The idea, Ritwik, is very simple. Is that entrepreneur, young people, talent, they need now to develop bridges, because with a bridge, with a partnership, you can do much more, better, faster, sometimes cheaper also. Okay, so the idea has always been to put a lot of attention and emphasis on connecting people with other people to make sure that the project is shared and to make sure that the project can find partners that can help to reach its goals. So the idea is, like always, is that we need to follow the kind of best of both worlds approach. So I think, as you know, Ritwik, that there are
Creative Valley is a physical location.
Creative Valley is more than a physical location, because it's a company which has more than 10 years of age in France, which has several physical locations, and it's a startup factory. So it's a company which focus completely on supporting startups to grow both as incubator, as scale up, and as open innovation. So in all the steps and the phases. Okay. And so I think it's a very important opportunity, and this fits in a huge opportunity now for Indian startups. The huge opportunity is that Indian startup, I think, and I know that you agree on Ritvik because we discussed about that many times, Indian startup, they had to see the world as their market, and they have to create tie-ups with other companies in order, to develop opportunities. Okay, so in this respect, now, if I would be an Indian startup, I would look with a lot of attention to Europe because of three reasons. Very simple. The first and most important reason is the size of the market. Europe is a 400 million people market. I mean, people which have capacity of spending, people which have education, and so it's an important market. It's as big as India, okay, in terms of sizable market. Of course, India is 1.3 billion, but I mean, the total addressable market in India is a few hundreds million of people, okay? And then second point, in Europe, you have a lot of talent in area which are complementary to the one of India. For example, in Italy, as you know, Italy is also a manufacturing hub, but the focus of Italy is to build things with design, build things nicely, okay? So this can complete and complement the Indian approach in technology, okay? So there is a lot of complementarity. And third point, which is very important, is that with the recovery, now there will be a huge amount of money that the European government will invest to help the European market to grow and leverage. So I think it's a huge opportunity for a foreign company, not only startups. This can also apply to Indian corporation, to consider Europe as a place where there will be for the next 5 years a lot of investment. Just to give you an idea, Ritvik, in Italy alone, there will be more than 230 billion euro, so which is 260 billion US dollars, okay? So it can be something in crore, it's a huge amount, I mean, 250 billion of US dollar that will be spent between now and 2026 in area like digital transformation, learning, healthcare, services, infrastructure. So this is the foundation of a program which is called Next Generation EU. So the European community is investing 1 trillion euro. So
that's a huge one.
1,000 billion, okay? It's investing to create the new opportunity for the next generation EU. So this is a very important opportunity. There is a lot of money. And so I think that it's in the interest of many Indian startups and mature corporations to consider it.
So Creative Valley would eventually pave the way for Indian startups. And
Exactly.
other,
Creative Valley, exactly. Creative Valley, we have a program that we have developed a few years back targeting with Korea. So we would like to develop the same program with India now, which is a program to help Indian startup to come to Europe, setting up in France, setting up in Paris, maybe setting up in Station F, which is the biggest world campus for startup, and from there on expand in all over Europe. Because people, they have to realize, Ritvik, that Europe is a single market. When you reach France, then there is no more custom, there are no more taxes and duties between France and Germany, France and Italy, France and Spain, all Europe. Unfortunately, the only country which is now different is again the UK, where because of Brexit, there is a custom tariff, no? But Europe is so the Indian startup, they can come to Paris, take advantage of the program at Creative Valley. We support them, and we support them to reach here and to find a partner. So we support them to find a partner to sell their products, and we support them to find money to invest in their companies.
So it's not just India that Indian startups can look forward to, it's actually the whole of Europe, as you rightly mentioned.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So let me break it down to actual deliverables from your side or from the side of this Creative Valley.
Yeah.
So you will first provide infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Then you will also help them accessing funds.
Yeah.
And then you will help them, other compliances and other marketing necessities and connect them with the market.
We are following all the steps which are needed. So first of all, we start from a market research. So we help the startup to understand the size of the European market for their technology and solution, first of all. Second point, we prepare a plan for which we analyze the different countries to find partners, okay? Because partners are important, because sometimes the startup from India, they need local partners for certification, for approval, for delivering support. Then when all is set up, then we start with the physical offices in the Creative Valley premises in Paris. We have a 3-4 location, which is a place where the startup can find people, they can send people, they can come here and be part of the ecosystem, okay? And then the last point is exactly to nurture in this ecosystem. So we will put all of our connection available to the startups, both towards the educational university and research center, both towards the venture capital, business angel and investor area, and also both towards the corporate and commercial side. So
are you looking at any particular industry sectors, or it can be in any areas, any vertical, any sector?
No. Of course, we have some sectors which are the most important for us in terms of the market. For example, at Station F, we have a program which is focusing on fashion, okay? Because as you know, in France and Italy, fashion is a big market. Then we have another program on ICT and IoT, which can be very strong for India. Then we have another program for biomedical, for healthcare. So we have 3-4 areas, which are the ones which are most important at the moment, okay? And especially in Europe, there are some areas, like robotics, artificial intelligence, ICT, IoT, okay, healthcare, which are the area where the government and the company will invest the most.
What are the activities of the other thing, which is Station F?
Yeah, Station F is the biggest world startup campus. So it's an activity where French corporation, French venture capital, French investor, they come there. There are more than 600 events per year. There are more than 300 startups which have an office there. There are 35 plus programs. So it's something like maybe you have seen Plug and Play, this kind of center with the startups. It has been launched by the French president of the Republic, Emmanuel Macron, a few years back, and Sarkozy also launched it. So it's the most important French venture into startups world.
At the end of the day, what matters most is the affordability factor, whether Indian startups can actually afford. I don't know how expensive would that be, because they will have to pay some fees to this French company which you represent. Then the whole expenses of going abroad, setting up shop there.
So of course, affordability is very important. So in this sense, I wanted to clarify 2 points, Ritvik. One is that, of course, we price those services bearing in mind that startups, they are young company, so we need to help them, okay? So the price will be on the low end, first point. Okay. Second point, which in my view is what I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that it will be important, Ritvik, with your help, with the catcalling and with all the people, to create a group of Indian startups that can participate to the program, so that we will be able to share some fixed cost by a huge number of companies, making very limited for each of them. So I think that there is this economy of scale factor that will be very important, and it will be a good opportunity. But of course, also, typically we do this program, our customer, most of the time, are the government, the local government. So our customer for such program are, for example, the French, the Italian, or the Korean Minister of Startup. And so I think that also in India, where there are ministers which they have funds and budget, they can invest some of this money to help the startup to go abroad.
So it's like if you set out on a tour in a group, your costs automatically come down.
Exactly.
So that's what you mean to say. If
exactly.
a group of startups join hands and go there, then their whole cost will come down.
Exactly. So it's all about the ecosystem concept. You know? The ecosystem concept is to put together companies which have different scale, different objective, but they are all connected by the success of the ecosystem. So this makes a lot of sense.
Would there be some opportunities for food startups as well?
Food, of course, because food tech is one of the most important area, and food products as well. Because, you know, one of the main issues that we have in Europe is the sourcing of food. So there are some areas where India is very strong, like prime elements, no, like spice and these kind of things, or supplements, no, which are very popular nowadays, no, because of health, no. I am referring to things like turmeric, no, and curry and other kind of things, no. Those kind are very interesting. But also, I remembered when you mentioned that I came once with
trying to help India.
Please.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that a few years back, when I joined a state visit of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, you know, in Italy, in Milano, there were also some entrepreneurs from India, which they were in the field, in the business of selling fruit, for example, you know, like banana and mango. No? So this is a huge opportunity, you know, because Europe is consuming a lot of those fruit, both fresh or through juice in concentrate.
So those are the areas that you can explore, and even Indian startups and companies can
Absolutely,
explore.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of, and the good point, Ritvik, is that there is a lot of networks and channels which are already here established, and that the Indian startup, they can benefit immediately.
So you are trying to get Indian startups there. That's perfectly understandable and fine, fair enough. But are European startups that keen to join hands with Indian startups and grow? How would it help them?
Yes, because in fact, you know, in innovation, a very important concept, Ritvik, is technology transfer and technology sharing. So the idea is exactly that. The idea is to join hands between technology company in India and technology company in Europe, that they can join forces to make sure that they can do a better and bigger product together. No? So of course, we will need agreements not to cover it, no, in terms of IP, in terms of commercial. But the point is that two counterparts, they can work together to make a concept, a product, a solution stronger and better.
Of course, you will come up with your concrete suggestions once the Indian startups come on board professionally with you and your organization. But broadly speaking, what kind of homeworks do these Indian startups need to do for venturing out to European countries and European market?
I think that the first homework they have to do is to consolidate what they have. No? So to make sure they have some information and presentation about themselves. Okay, so they need to produce some documents, no, like pitch and presentation about their situation, and also understand at which stage they are. Because here in Europe, we have program now which can be good for incubator, so for early stage startup, or we have program for the scale up. So for startup, which maybe they already have some seed, for example, no? It depends also a lot in terms of where are they in terms of a product view line. Okay, do they have a product already shipping? Do they have a product available? So these are the things that needs to be clear. And a very important point is that the entrepreneur from India, they need to understand what they need. Do they need to sell? Do they need money to finance the development? Do they need a partner? So this has to be clear. So the Indian company, they have to clarify on their own what is their current situation and what is their medium and long-term plan, and therefore understanding which type of partner they are interested to look at.
So you have another company based out of Italy, BizBuzz,
Yes.
which is kind of advisory firm, advising the different company or bridge building between Indian and Italian, Indian and European companies. So far, we have been talking about Indian startups going to European or exploring European markets. But what about European companies or Italian companies coming to India or this part of India?
From my viewpoint, Ritvik, this is an untapped opportunity and a huge opportunity, as you know well. We discussed about that because what we need in Europe is a market where to sell our products. So there are already now, there are some examples of European and Italian company manufacturing in India with some partner, manufacturing sweet, manufacturing shoes, manufacturing leather, now these kind of products. So from this viewpoint, it's a huge opportunity because of the size of the market of India and because of the fact that thanks to the improvement of the society in India, there are more and more people in India which have and will have capacity of investing and spending. Okay, so this type of market is huge. And I think that it's in the interest of European company, which they sell products and service, to consider India as an important market. Please be aware that the majority of the company in Europe, they consider China more important than India, okay? But I think it's a mistake because China, maybe it's bigger market than India, but it's a mature market nowadays. And there are a lot of companies in China that they have an approach that they want to get the technology and the solution to them and then sell in the world. I think that the approach between Europe and India, sorry, is much more likely. European, especially Italian and Indian companies are very similar. The value that we have are very similar. So I think it makes a lot of sense, for business people from Italy and business people from India to speak together and to develop something together, which in first step will be targeted to India market, second step, the neighboring countries, okay, and third step, all the Southeast Asia markets from India. So the idea is to design a product in Italy, manufacture in India, and sell in the world. So those are the three simple points. Designed in Italy, manufactured in India, and sold in the world. Acha.
India can eventually emerge as a kind of global manufacturing hub.
Exactly.
That's what you mean to say.
Exactly. And for example, there are now huge opportunity also in the vaccine and the healthcare. So I think that it will be great for some company like Serum Institute of India, to consider to tie up with the Italian company in the life science to manufacture vaccine and other supplies here in Italy, for example.
The designing will be provided by the companies out there.
Of course, yes, because this is the tradition. Because of, you see, in my background, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, we built it almost 1,000 years ago, my friend. So,
And then eventually some kind of technology transfer or designing transfer, that is also possible?
of course, we also discussed it in the past with some school to organize some chapter of the school of design in India. Absolutely, yes. But I think that there are some Italian company in the design and education sector which are very interested to tie up with Indian counterparts to open school and center of design in India, to train a new suite of people in India which will be able to learn the technique in Italy and they'll do in India.
We keep receiving inquiries, queries, and questions from our startup friends who would like to know that what kind of, in terms of compliances and legal framework, I mean, would they face some kind of hassles there going abroad, going to European markets, or it's easy, smooth, and
no, I mean, in general, it is smooth. Then there are some vertical which are regulated, you know, like the food and drug, you know. It depends a little bit on which. So food and drug, whatever is about communication, you need to get some license and things. But these, we are here to help those companies to figure out, you know, if their case is a free one or they need to do something specially.
the creative value would help Indian companies in these regards as well.
This is exactly our cup of tea, Ritvik.
Okay.
Darjeeling, tea from Darjeeling.
Yes, maybe we can send some Darjeeling tea to Italy and European market.
Exactly.
There's a huge demand, I guess.
Great. I told you in the past, tea, turmeric, spice, and curry, it's a huge opportunity. Please do so.
Particularly in the wake of this pandemic, because Indian spices, tea, all are, you know, perceived to be having those immunity booster effects or impacts.
Absolutely.
It was really fascinating hearing you, JC. I'm sure we'll get many more opportunities to talk to you, and in fact, very soon we would like to, or we would love to have you in Kolkata. I'm sure you would also love to be here because there is a special place that Kolkata has in your heart. So look forward to seeing you in Kolkata very soon once things get normalized. But for the time being, thank you very much. Thank you indeed for joining us and sharing the story, the new opportunities that Indian startups can look forward to. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let's hope that Indian startup can join with this.
All ours.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, let's end on that spirited note. Yeah. Bye.